Hi, Mike Napoleon here with SuperSpeed Golf. We're going to go through an overview of our SuperSpeed Golf products, our training protocols, and how you can use those to help your players hit the ball farther. I'm going to share my screen real quick and go through a quick presentation really about how all of this works. You know, back when we were still running our golf academy, one of the main questions that we looked at was what affects how far a player hits a golf ball. We were able to narrow this down or put it into four main categories of different areas that will affect how far a player can hit a golf ball. The first is the physical. It's obviously important how strong the player is, how functionally mobile the player is, and all of the other different physical characteristics. All of these are going to have a major impact on a player's ability to hit a golf ball a long way. The next are mechanics. Now, as a swing coach, this is one that's near and dear to my heart, as it's something we talk about on a daily basis. We like to look at this on a macro level with something we call the speed pyramid. This really looks at how a player interacts with the ground, how those forces and torques are going to affect that player's body from a rotational sequencing standpoint, and then how the player is going to use their hands, arms, and the club in order to deliver to that speed to the golf ball. You know, mechanics are very important, and they're the way that we get the most out of the physicality of our golf swing or of our body. Equipment is also a major factor, and I look at this much broader than just what golf club the player's using. This also looks at all of the different launch monitor characteristics that are going to help a player optimize how far the ball flies off the club. This is going to involve spin rate and launch angle and all the different things that are going to optimize ball flight. The fourth category is one that we've become more popular for talking about. It's what we call the neurological components to speed. Now, this is a big deal because this is really something separate than those other three categories that I think can have a major impact on how far a player can hit a golf ball. This is all based on something we call the motor unit. Motor units are really active in our body for every single movement that we do. So think of it this way. A golf swing is a program that lives in your brain. Your brain selects that program, sends a signal down your central nervous system. That signal arrives at your muscles. Your muscles then respond to that signal with the given motion. Now, we can use brain training to look at a very specific part of this function, which is the expected reaction speed of the body. Your brain also has an expected reaction speed to every one of these motor programs when they fire. So here's how it works in practicality. This is how our protocols work. We're always going to start with that lightweight club in order to get the body to move faster than normal during the golf swing. And then we're going to gradually increase some weight to add permanency to the training. So on average, when we go through our training relative to their normal club speed, a player can swing the green club in our set, which is 20% lighter than their driver, about 19% faster than their normal swing speed. Now that's a lot. That's like a player starting at 100, swinging at almost 120 miles an hour. What we find is that in just a handful of swings, the player's brain starts to expect this faster result. We can then add a little bit more resistance to the equation or add more load back or make the club a little bit heavier. We actually go to a second one that's still lighter, but we add a little load back, and we'll still see that player swing 17% faster. Then we go to a club that's 5% heavier than the player's driver. And what we see in our studies is during training, they'll still be swinging that 12% faster than their normal swing speed. So this training in general is much less about the weight of the clubs. It's much more about maintaining these speeds faster than the normal golf swing. So that's how we define overspeed training, is making your body move faster than it normally does during something it already knows how to do in order to permanently increase the reaction speed of the body to that motor program. We do some other cool things in our protocols. One is non-dominant training. This is an incredibly important area to look at for optimizing rotational sequencing. It's also great for preventing injuries in the golf swing. We have 5 levels of protocols for our overspeed training sets at SuperSpeed. These are progressive. We recommend that every athlete, regardless of athleticism or skill level, start in level 1 and progress through this training. Generally speaking, this is going to be, over 2 years worth of training for most players. Here's what to expect. So the blue line in this chart is what we call effective club speed before the training. So there's going to be an average of about 5 balls hit on TrackMan. The red number is about 5 balls hit on TrackMan after the training. What we'll see is a pattern of getting a jump in club speed, usually after the very first session, and then about a 6 to 8 week normalization phase where the before and after speeds will be a little bit different still, and then we'll enter a plateau where they're more stable. On average, we're going to see players increase their swing speed by 5% permanently in about 6 to 8 weeks. Now, if you continue this training and continue to move through the protocols, we'll see a secondary jump, usually about 4 to 6 months into the training. It's a little smaller, about 3.5%, another 6 to 8 week normalization period, and then another plateau. We released another product back in January of this year called our SuperSpeed C Club. Now, this uses something called counterweight training, where we're trying to really change the physics of the motion to get an overspeed training effect on just one part of the motion. In this case, we're trying to get it right with the hands and arms right around impact. So we're trying to increase release speed, increase hand and arm speed around impact. We do this with a club that's significantly counterweighted. It's actually about the same overall weight as your driver, but it has a huge counterweight behind the player's hands, which allows that club to just slingshot through the impact zone extremely quickly and give us an overspeed training of effect right around impact with the hands and arms. Now, all of this stuff works because of something we call athletic ceiling. Now, this is going to be any human being's peak potential to create speed and power. Now, this is going to be a result of that player's genetics and all the different developmental training that they did when they were a kid. So once we're in our early 20s, we're not changing our athletic ceiling very much. So for our junior players, we're trying to build that highest, peak athletic ceiling we possibly can so that they have the opportunity to create, powerful elite athleticism later in life. However, for our players that are older than their 20s or, later in life, we still can see huge speed gains because most people, in fact, nearly 100% of players we've come in contact with don't function anywhere near their peak athletic potential. So that gives us a huge gain potential for players that are really not changing their body in any significant way. All they're doing is accessing speed that their body was already able to produce. So that's kind of the overview that I wanted to give everybody about our SuperSpeed golf training products. There's a ton more information available on our website at superspeedgolf.com. Feel free to ask us any questions. You can email us at info@superspeedgolf.com or at any of our social media handles, which are all at SuperSpeedGolf. We also have a great certification program, which you can use for online MSR credits. That's available at superspeedcertified.com. It's 3 levels of classes, and they're all online. So from our team at SuperSpeed, we hope you have a great rest of your meeting and convention, and we look forward to seeing you soon.